You're watching Every Days and Saturdays, USCC veteran. Let's go, baby. And here's your host, Brian. And what's going on, friends and family? Thank you guys so much for joining me on another great day, another great interview. Before we get started, I hope everybody out there, I hope you're having an amazing day, amazing week, and I hope 2025 is treating you well so far. If you're out there struggling, remember, there's always the crisis lifeline. You can call 988 and press 1, and hopefully they can point you in the right direction. You can talk to someone kind of discreetly. Maybe you don't want to talk to people, Don't be afraid to reach out. There's also people like me. You can always email me at everydaysasaturday365@yahoo.com. And also, if you would like to be a part of the show, please also reach out and email me. You don't have to have any crazy stories out there. You don't have to be, like a combat veteran or anything like that. We just want people to come out, share their stories. This is an opportunity for us to share with the world what you're doing, what you did, what you're up to. Not a lot of people get to hear the behind the scenes of what it's like to be in the military, and a very small percentage of people, when you add up as many people are in the US, there's a very small percentage that actually serve and have experiences to talk about. So we got to try to capture them. Imagine all the great stories that we could have had from our, World War I, World War II veterans and things like that. We're starting to get little bits of them, the ones that are still alive, trying to get some stories. But imagine all the great stories that we could be capturing, and another great thing that we like to do is kind of highlight what our veterans are doing after service, because a lot of them, service doesn't stop for them. They continue on and do great things. Here we have two great veterans that started a company together called Verideal. They'll be launching that on August 18th, 2025. And they are a company that will help sales rep keep track of their closed won deals by having a verification process with the buyer. And for today, we're going to have Donny Hackett, who is Coast Guard veteran. And it's always interesting because it's hard to find Coast Guard veterans, especially to come on the show. So I'm excited to have Donny on here to talk all about himself. And let's bring him on. What's going on, Donny? How you doing, man?
How's it going, Brian? Thank you for the intro.
Hey, absolutely. I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to hear about your experiences and, what's brought you and an Army veteran together to start Verideal. So we'll be getting more into that later on in the show. Kind of, the first part of the show, we like to get to know a little bit more about you and your background, where you grew up, what made you decide to go into the Coast Guard, and share your experiences, whatever you want, while you served in the Coast Guard. And then let's talk about, and then right there, we'll kind of take a quick break. Then we'll kind of talk about that transitioning of when you decided to get out and how that was for you, because as we know, that's a big struggle for a lot of our veterans out there. A large portion of them right off jump when they get off are already off to a bad start, and that we got to try to do better. And we like to hear success stories, of people out there that are finding great things out there to keep their mind going and keep them going and make them feel like they still have a purpose. But go ahead, Donny. The show is all yours, man. And go ahead and take us down your path, brother.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks, Brian. So I grew up in Austin, Texas, the hill country of Austin, Texas. And, recently it's been on the news for the tragedy. And we will actually kind of circle back to that because, a Coast Guard rescue swimmer famously, did some great things down there. So, that we can circle back to that later because I was also in that Coast Guard rescue swimmer training as well. So,
well, as you say that real quick, I just like to say a quick message to everybody out there that's struggling, has lost someone out there, or, you're still out there we send our prayers, and God bless you guys. What a tragedy to hear about. So just wanted to say that since you brought it up, I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to kind of just let everybody know that, prayers are out there and people are thinking about you.
A lot of prayers, because that was tragic, what happened.
Yeah, God, it still keeps you keep hearing more
Keeps
tragic
coming.
stories keep coming. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So, I grew up in the kind of like the outskirts of Austin, Texas, pretty much my entire life. And then, I played a lot of different sports. I was into triathlons and tennis was a family sport. And so, after high school, I kind of realized I wasn't ready for college. I wasn't ready to like go to school. I didn't do
Right.
well in high school. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm laughing because it sounds like my story a little bit
yeah,
too.
like
Like,
I showed up to class
uh,
most of the time.
right. Yeah.
I passed, but it wasn't for me. That's not how my brain worked. That's not what I like to do. I didn't like to sit in a classroom being lectured to for 8 hours a day, right?
Right.
I wanted to go out and learn. And so sports was my outlet. I picked tennis. I was decently good at it. I went to states first time, for the high school that we were there. And then kind of realized that I could continue playing tennis, and take a gap year. And gap year is very well known within the European culture, I guess you can say. The countries, like if you're not ready for college or post, education, you just take 1 year off. Now that might be a strain on your parents, sorry, but at the same time, you're allowing yourself to develop and watch your peers at the same time, kind of learn what they like, what they don't like, and then kind of correct your own course based on that. Um,
It's almost like it right there's it's almost like it's a good thing and it could be a bad thing, right? Because sometimes some people get really complacent and get too comfortable, and instead of that gap year being 1 year, it becomes two, maybe three, and then before you know it, it's like they're having to get into a career and a job. But
yep,
the flip side about that is there's a lot of kids that come out right and right off rip they don't know what they want to do, so they just
right.
go and get all these classes that absolutely mean nothing to them, and they spend the first year wasting their time, and they rack up a bill, you know what I mean, a loan or something of the sort that they shouldn't have to pay. So
Especially
I'm
these
sorry.
days. I mean, no, I mean, like, education, you're talking about an 18, 22-year-old kid going
Right.
into 50, 80, $100,000 debt, and you haven't experienced like the actual real world of what, that corporate job might look like. 9 to 5, 8 to 5, you're driving, you're commuting for an hour both ways. Like, is that something that you actually want to do, or should you go experience something for 10 months, 6 months, even,
Mhm.
post, high school, to kind of like see what's out there? um, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that we live in, and I think that's where the military really, shined. So, graduated high school, and then that summer I played tennis a lot, and I got really sick. Oddly enough, like I got
Oh shit.
extremely sick. I lost, I think, like 60 pounds. Went to a lot of different doctors,
What year
and
did you graduate?
'09.
Oh, nine. Okay.
Yep. And so, found a doctor in New York, that kind of knew what was wrong with me. I went to doctors everywhere around Texas. They didn't figure it out. I went to a doctor in New York. Um, and, a few months later, I got better, just through some treatments. And so tennis kind of was off the table. So, not a problem. So I kind of, again, in my gap year, I was like, okay, what should I do? Let's go visit some friends at college. Let's go see what college is about. So I did a road trip from New York down to, Florida, and, visited quite a few friends at all these different colleges. And throughout that time, I was just not, it just didn't sit with me, if that makes sense. I wasn't ready for it, I guess you could say. So, um, after, I would say like 3 months of or so of, traveling the East Coast, I went back to Austin, Texas. I told my parents, I want to be in the Navy because I grew up reading the books of like either the Navy SEALs, and mind you, this is 2009, 2010 era, so like the movies weren't being produced yet. So I wanted to do the Navy SEALs or the Green Berets, and so I went in, drove from Austin to San Antonio. I got there around lunchtime, which is kind of writes its own history because when I walked into the recruiting office, uh, everyone was out to lunch except the Coast Guard recruiter. So I walked up to him. We were talking. He was like, "What are you looking to do?" I was like, I'm interested in the Navy SEALs or Green Berets. I just kind of want to do something on the special forces side." And he was like, "Well, have you ever heard of Rescue Swimmer?" And I was like, "I think so." And he goes like, "Well, there's a famous movie out, just released, The Guardian with Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher." And I was like, "Oh, I've seen that. It's a great movie. And it looks really tough." And he says, "Yep, that's exactly what, I guess our special forces is." So as a good recruiter does, puts us, has me sign on the dotted line. So fast forward about 6, 8 months later, I go to boot camp August 2010. So that's when I joined the United States Coast Guard. Enlisted.
You have a decent ASVAB score to join the Coast Guard, right? Because I think it's what I don't know what the ASVAB score is anymore, but I know that you had to be decent. That's pretty much why I didn't go to the Coast Guard. Because I don't think my score was like within. They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to retake the ASVAB." I was like, "Nah, I'm good, man. I don't want to do that."
I do remember them saying, I think the Air Force and the Coast Guard were
the
a few
highest
points higher than everybody else. But I mean, it was marginal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, how was boot camp? For you guys, they call it boot camp. What do you guys call basic training? What do you guys call it?
Exactly, basic training out of Cape May, New Jersey. So, pretty much, I guess, like everyone else, you get shipped off, and then you show up, and all the drill instructors or the night of yelling at you in your face and all that fun stuff, and then buzz your hair the next morning, get your uniforms. But it was about 8 weeks, 8.5 weeks, if I remember correctly. And my drill instructors, 3 guys, and one was a former Marine as well. So he had some different type of drill instructor, mentality, which was good. But overall, I mean, I thought the Coast Guard boot camp was fantastic. I mean, it taught us a lot, and we also were able to work out like a decent amount, which is awesome. So, but yeah, it's boot camp. You just gotta get through it.
Right. So after you guys complete boot camp, how do you guys split off into your jobs, and how do they determine that? Now, you said you became a rescue swimmer, or you talked about rescue swimmer. Now, that's going to be pretty extensive training, I imagine, because most of your rescues are in the ocean. It's fucking wild and raging. So
that's correct. Yeah. So Coast Guard, I believe, does it a little bit different from every other branch in the way that you don't have an MOS like right afterwards, or we call it A school. So you don't go to A school right away unless you want to be, I believe it's like a cook or one other thing. But you go into the fleet as a non-rate, whether you're assigned to like a land station, a small boat station, cutter, or air station. So
dang, they just kind of throw you where I guess they need you, so to speak.
I think it's like everywhere else where they put up the like a on a projector, like here's the options, here's the class rank, first gets first pick, and so on and so forth. But the night before that happened, the honor guard came to do their presentation, and so the Presidential Honor Guard based in DC, they come and they do one thing at the very beginning, which is line everyone up and they hold up a tape measure and to see if you're 6 feet tall. And if you're below 6 feet, they don't talk to you. They basically like let you go back to the barracks. And if you're over 6 feet, you there. So I think I was one of 4 people above 6 feet. I'm 6'1", and so we had a conversation. It was about an hour long. They definitely sold it, and so I decided to go to the honor guard as my choice. And so I didn't have to go to a different duty station. I went to the honor guard by that. But best decision, met 2 of my best friends, my brothers there, if not more. I still talk to a lot of people there, and they're
Nice.
fantastic
Good.
people. Yeah.
You
So,
just had a nice little core group.
yep, that was great.
Now talk about more, what the honor guard does in
Yeah.
terms of what you guys had to do and all that.
Yeah. So again, the Coast Guard's a little bit different in this aspect. So as far as I understand it, and we were around all the branches fairly often, whether it was one of our missions was, the Arlington National Cemetery, whether you did pallbearers, whether you did the I'm gonna get made fun of for not remembering exactly the details, but basically, like standing in the platoon at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. You didn't get to do the tomb guard; that was only Army and a special division of the Army. You could.
Now,
do
did you get to
fire.
know some of those guys that were doing that job?
We did. We got
You
to
get to
know a
talk
few
to
of
them,
them.
and geez, man, because I would have.
Yeah. The guys that made it to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, like honor guard, we're all very proud of like how well we are able to keep our uniforms. Like if we were like
Right? Yeah, dude. Yeah,
very inspected, right?
sure.
The Tomb guys were on a different level, like just like another tier above everybody else. Their mannerisms were very sharp. It showed how much dedication that they had to this memorial, and it was beautiful to see, especially like on the actual ceremony times, whether we were standing in the platoon or I've gone back to visit myself. Just knowing how much time and practice they take to perfect their movements it's cool. And they have a very important job. I mean, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, they should be perfect, and they are.
And there's a
So
lot of people that go to see that too, right? There's spectators there a lot of times as well, and they got to stay disciplined and can't be looking at folks in the corner of their eyes. They have a mission, and I
it's
mean, I've seen videos of it, and it is something to look at. Now, I mean, being around that, I could only imagine, dude. You're around a lot of history over there as well.
a
So,
lot
I
of
mean,
history.
what an amazing opportunity for you.
It was, and that was another part about going to the honor guard, which was like you're around not only the history of Arlington National Cemetery, you're also able to, unfortunately, but be present at the funeral services for any active duty. So unfortunately, we had a helicopter accident, and we did 4 funerals around the country for them. But again, we were there. We showed up. We did what I believe the impression that I always get from the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier of that perfection was displayed on to the family and the family members and the friends of the fallen Coastie with the helicopter. So that was a nice experience in itself. And then another part of the mission was drill team, which I was a part of. And so, you know, sure, there can be plenty of jokes being made about drill team, throwing guns around. But on,
No, there's a discipline that I really honestly I respect it. I love watching all that stuff, man. You
it's
know what I
cool.
mean?
Um,
So I understand the discipline that it takes. I just marching, you know what I mean? Just doing
yep,
simple marching, but to be an honor guard and to have to be on points, and I mean, you guys are doing that day in day out. I imagine too. The training is just impeccable.
So I'll tell you a quick little story. When I was trying out for the drill team, I was also trying out for what we call the center four. So like the drill team does their show or performance, and then the center four, there's only four people stand around the NCO or officer, and we do a little bit more advanced throws, right? The training for, I think it was in January, because we were in a gym pretty much nonstop. Our chief, who was a perfectionist, an old school honor guards person, he put up one of those 8-foot gym mats, like those, like you fold them in, and so you couldn't see anybody. And so you're blinded, but you're throwing these weapons and bayonets to your buddy on the other side, and I'm throwing it behind my back. And so I think we left that month very sharp, but on top of that, like we had scars pretty much up and down our.
Talking about getting stabbed by some very sharp stuff too. So not only you guys were you sharp, but you guys got probably
got,
little stab here and there.
Scars there, yeah.
Damn,
but
man.
But I mean, for the rest of that year, is 2012. We traveled with our drill team to, I want to say like 20, 30 different cities all across America. We did the halftime show for NFL.
That's super cool.
We did a lot of really fun stuff, and because of that training, that our chief kind of, put us through, as chiefs do, we were able to perform at a really high level. And we were on Good Morning America, Fox News. We did a lot of fun stuff. So, but yeah,
what an
that's
opportunity.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that is amazing opportunity in more ways than one. And, I got to imagine, like I said, if you guys make a mistake, you can see that mistake, because everybody's so in sync. Now, for every perfect thing, there's people that still mess up. Now, is there anybody in the group that kind of messes up more than the other, or is it like once in a while everybody kind of is bound to mess up?
I think everyone, and it also depends on what you're doing the night before.
They don't even think about that part, man. Going real hard in the paint, and then the next day they're like, oh no.
You're also talking about, you're taking 21, 24-year-olds across the country, and so we definitely had our fun. But when we were on stage or doing the performance, I felt like pretty much, I would say 95% of us, of the 12 or 18 of us, depending on how many, we were on point. And we were on point because, we had a really great chief that just drilled us nonstop. So it was more or less second nature at that point. But there were a few times that in the center for, we made a mistake or two, but we covered it up pretty well. So it was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it's always bound to happen. Now, in terms of being on the funeral details, I've had a Marine on here before, and he had that was kind of a job that he ended up with, and went to like over 300, I think, funerals. It went to quite a bit.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I'm not sure if you went to that number, but you just talked about 4 in particular. Now it's got to have a little bit to wear on your guys' mental health, or are you guys trained to kind of deal with that? Because you guys are around family members who just lost their loved one, and now you guys are around people that are super somber. The setting isn't always a good one to go into, and a lot of people do. And then if you're around that repeatedly, it could start to wear on your mental health. Now, do you feel like that had any kind of effect on you?
To a degree, yes. The answer is yes, because now, and I've talked to quite a few buddies about this, is when I do attend a funeral of a friend or family, I'm not even sure how to even describe it, but like, I just trick myself that the way that I was taught in the honor guard, which is like, you just disconnect completely, which is not healthy in its own
Right.
way.
Sure.
But
Especially
yeah,
when you
no,
become a family man or something, right? And you got kids, and being disconnected from your emotions and your feelings is not always kosher to the family life,
no, not at all.
as we
And
all know.
three young kids, and it can be tough.
Sure.
Yeah, but in while we were in the honor guard, we had only one sit down. And to give you number and reference, I believe I personally did over 200, 250. I can double check
Sheesh.
funerals.
Right. Wow.
So
That's
whether
that's a lot, dude. I mean, no matter. I mean,
there's a lot,
two's too many, but I mean that anywhere, that's a large number to be around.
it
That
was
a
a
lot.
lot,
That's a lot. Yeah.
and I know for a fact I was one of 6 or 10 people of the 20 or so that do travel that was a part of the helicopter crash funerals, which also kind of hurt because one of the pilots was my sister. My sister knew him from college or something like that,
Yeah.
so we had another like element. So, but yeah, I mean, we had one of those circle sit downs with everyone that did the helicopter crash and was like, is everyone okay? And I think it was like 30 minutes, and no one really talked. And then we just kind of left and went to the bar, just
Y'all
ourselves
did the guy thing, like you didn't want to talk about how you felt right there, right? I mean, I'm
in front
sure.
of like 20 other guys. Right. So,
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way we're all kind of
yeah.
conditioned, right? Is not to be so that, but I mean,
Right.
in turn though, man, I mean, this is where we try to elaborate on this kind of stuff, so maybe they can start doing better,
Yeah.
because maybe
Please
it would
do.
help if they started to find a way of how can we get this out without making it so like, you
Yeah.
know, the way sometimes I feel like they go about it, they're never going to get it out of the
Yeah.
veterans or the people who experience their trauma,
No.
you know?
And I mean, for anyone that's in service or out of service, it's okay to like be emotional. Like it's actually kind of normal. It's weird when you're not showing feelings.
The human part of us, we all have that,
Yeah,
right? And so when you start to disconnect from that, there's some internal problem with that. And
yeah,
that's, and you can usually start to tell the people who have the feelings versus the non-feelings, and when they start to get really disconnected from whatever it may be, their beliefs or whatever. Um, yeah. So
yeah. It's okay to have a conversation with a buddy, and sure, if you need a few beers to get to that level, then do that. But like, have a few, just have a conversation with someone. It does change a lot after you start.
and that's a big reason why I kind of started to do this podcast and started down the manner that I did, is because I wanted to have more of these type of conversations,
Yeah,
and to normalize it, for people to start seeing that, hey man, we can have these conversations and walk away and still be some badasses.
right.
Just because you're going through something, that does not devalue you, who you are.
Right.
If you don't go through trials and tribulations, I would call bullshit, because everybody in life is going to experience some kind of trial and tribulation, man.
Yep.
No one goes through some just peaceful life. We all have death that is upon us. There's all kinds of things that can, natural disasters. There's all kinds
Yeah.
of things that just happen that are not in the script for us, or we don't, that's not for us or whatever, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Something greater is sometimes for you, and
Yes.
that's the hard part. And while we're all here though, man, it's better for us all to be okay and talk about it, right? And say, that's why I kind of asked in some of these questions, because I want to know, like, I know, man, you went on a lot of details of funeral details. That cannot be easy, man, being
No.
around family members who are experiencing, everybody deals with grief differently, and seeing 200 and something times, you see all kinds of reactions, right?
Yep.
From the screaming to the almost pulling out of the caskets to the to everybody's silent. I mean, imagine from every
Yeah.
point of the room, you guys experience it now.
Yeah.
the better part that I think that we want to start addressing is for the active is we got to start bridging the gap, I think, between the active and the veteran, the active duty and the veterans. Because when I was in, man, we didn't really think about being the veteran or the veterans.
Right.
You know, oh, look at old veterans, and and here I am. I'm this old veteran with a podcast now, and I'm fitting that mold, man, as that veteran dude. But we need people out there that are gonna, do these kind of things and talk about it and bring out the uncomfortableness and say it's okay. Because, man, I hope the younger generation can watch these things and do better for themselves. And I hope that we can start reconnecting with the active duty people that are still serving and saying, hey, man, what can we all do together to make sure that when these guys and girls get out, there's still going to be some badasses for us. Right. And they're not going to keep giving into the enemy and giving more numbers and giving into, evil. It's just, we got to figure out how can we bridge the gap.
Yeah.
But now let's talk more about how you started getting ready to get out and obviously everybody kind of has a time when they're going to get out, whether you do 4 years or you do 20, everybody's going to get out of the military. Now, did you have plans when you got in that you were going to be a lifer, or did you have like, hey, I'm just going to go experience it and we'll see where it goes?
Yeah. So when I joined the Coast Guard, I joined with a purpose to be the rescue swimmer. So in boot camp, the honor guard kind of came up, and it was a fantastic experience. And I was really proud to be a part of that. After my 2.5 year rotation there, my name was on the list, and it finally got called to go to rescue swimmer school.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that then.
Yeah. So this was early 2013. I would say I think it was like March I reported in. It was right after President Obama's second inauguration. Regardless of politics, don't really care to get into that. Doing an inauguration as an honor guard, as a senior honor guard person, that was a really cool experience.
Bro, another part of history, not a lot of people get to experience that. And regardless of how you feel about whoever it may be, just being there is
it was really cool.
Historical. Absolutely.
It was nuts. It was awesome. So fast forward, going to rescue swimmer training. So I was one of the last or second to last classes that did it the old way, which was you went to air station first. You had the shop kind of coach you and groom you and train you for 4 months. And then after that, you go to the actual A school for another 4 months. So we showed up. It was myself and 3 other buddies from the honor guard. So it was it was awesome.
It was cool because now you know a couple guys.
And so we went to Elizabeth City Rescue Swimmer Shop in North Carolina, so just outside of Outer Banks. So if you see any helicopters on the Outer Banks, that's where they come from, Elizabeth City. So we were there, and with one of the, I think, more legendary and more well-respected senior chiefs of the rescue swimmer world. And so, 4 months went by fast. We did some very difficult trainings. I still remember getting yelled at by him for not counting numbers on bleachers, after like a 3-hour track day, and, just getting smoked. Good lesson though, right? You always have to, be loud no matter how tired you are and how far away you think senior chief is. He's going to see you.
Yeah, you learned a lesson that day.
That was a fun lesson. I heard it was Friday too.
Of course, always.
Yeah. So we, I guess, graduated, right? We all 4 went to the school. So again, this was like I think we were the last or second to last class to go through this type of program where it was more condensed and very hard, right? And it was in the brand new pool. So the pool was, you can look it up. They just, in 2022, I just looked this up because of what happened in Texas, but 2022, they moved from Elizabeth City over to California. But prior to that, they just built this massive pool, and it's bigger than an Olympic sized pool. It had the ability to create waves of 3 to 4 feet and wind up to like 100 miles an hour, and pitch
Wow.
black and bells and whistles, and it was quite the production. Let's put it that way. So, and it was deep. I think it was like 14, 15 feet deep pool.
It's necessary though, man. They gotta mimic it as best they can. That's not even probably coming close to how powerful and everything it
Exactly.
really is out there.
The ocean is, it's Mother Nature,
A
right? You're fighting
beast,
Mother
yeah.
Nature. So, week one, you get worked, you get beat. Week two is what they would consider, I guess, weeding out week. Week one, the first Thursday was a tough Thursday, but it's one of those Thursdays where like you just gotta make it through and you're fine. So we start typically at 6 a.m. and we finished around like 5:30, 6 p.m. at night. So nothing that you can't physically do, but it's more like just the repetitive and
Wearing your
constant
ass
crushing,
out.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So week two was again, but like Monday through Friday type of weeding out. So I think we started the class with 22, 23 guys, no females in my class. And I think by the end of week two, we were down to like 8, maybe 7. If
Now,
that.
at this point, are you starting to feel like you're getting more powerful with it all, or is it really starting to wear you out a little bit too? I mean, because
Yeah.
that's where are you at mentally at this point? Because
I
damn, they're already
men
weeding people out. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
probably think that starts to get in your mind as well.
Yeah, no, my mindset was pretty solid throughout the entire thing, even though my buddy from the honor guard was right next to me and he dropped, I think, week two. And all I could do is like start yelling at him, like, what are you doing? And I thought, once you see your buddy drop, you're gonna drop, right? That it never even crossed my mind. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do more flutter kicks, go drown some more, go swim some more, be stuck underwater for a few minutes, and you'll be fine. So towards the end of week two, it was more of like, okay, I felt good because we knew week three was going to transition to kind of like a little bit more classroom, learn about techniques, approaches, wrestling underwater. Basically, that's what I like to call it because that's what it really
Right.
is.
Yeah. Messing with a drowning victim that's trying to drown you while you're trying to save him type thing,
All
or
the fun stuff,
yeah. Yeah.
and then I just one little add on. I got the flu. I think it was like between week 3 and week 4.
Oh
So I was
no.
out for like 5 days, and you could only miss like 3 days or
Before
something
they
like that.
drop you out drop you.
Roll you. So like I told the instructor, they're like, "You gotta swim today." I'm like, "Okay." So I hop in, and they're like, "It's a test." I'm like, "What test?" So they're like, "Just go swim." So sorry but I was still 100-degree fever, and so stuff came up, plugged the snorkel, sucked it back down, and like kept going because if things went into the pool, they cleared the pool, and you got in more trouble. So
Oh
like
no,
you just
yeah,
gotta,
dude. Oh
you just
no.
gotta suck it up sometimes.
Oh.
And luckily the chief saw it and was like, "That was disgusting, but so cool. Good for you for doing that." I'm like,
Right. No
"I
shit.
don't feel
What
good."
is getting sucked is you saw they take the toughness in you right there.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so weeks went on, training went on. My ears started really bothering me.
Ah, damn. Getting
One
that swimmer's
person,
ear.
yep. One person had the same issue, and that person unfortunately popped his eardrums, popped both.
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
And
Shit, dude, because they were so swollen, huh?
we're just underwater constantly
Right.
in the atmosphere. And so he was rolled and he couldn't go back to swimmer school. They were that bad. And I was like, okay, my ears feel like this. What do you think? And he was like, you're about to pop your eardrums. And I'm like, okay, I'll muscle through this, a typical military guy, right?
Damn it, man. Yeah.
So the very next morning, vertigo, I couldn't even walk straight. I'm like falling all over myself
Oh
on the
gosh,
PT
dude, you're
grinder.
just
And so
clogged up. Yeah.
Yeah. So they med rolled me in late stage phase 2. So there's 3 phases, late stage phase 2 or early stage phase 3. Um, and so I joined the very next class, and the doctor said I needed like 6 weeks to heal. They gave me 1 week. Logic, right? Military math on that one. And so I did week 1. I got to like, I think Wednesday of week 2. And I was like, I just walked in early that morning. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I know what happens if I push, my eardrums pop. The doctor said that. If I do that, I understand it's like
You're
years
done
of surgeries,
forever.
and
Yeah.
I can't swim again. Like, I can't surf. I can't go scuba diving. Sure, that eventually, maybe. But like, okay, so it was a very, very difficult decision. So I made that decision. They sent me to a small boat station in Annapolis, and I was there for about a year and a half. I think I would say 9 months, I was in the deepest depression I've ever been in. And
Wow.
that was deep.
Just the
Because
duty station or just your mindset? I mean,
my
all the
mindset,
things.
I
Just
couldn't
yeah.
do the one job that I wanted to do, and it wasn't my fault. I didn't feel like it was my fault. It was my ears, and I was like blaming myself, and I was mad.
Yeah, that really messed you up.
Yeah, and it was a fine duty station, good crew, good people, nothing there. It was just myself, my mental. It was not healthy. And then I bring this up. Hopefully, I can help someone. One person
Right.
is I started working out again, and I stopped basically working out. I'll do push-ups and pull-ups, but I started working out, and I set a really hard goal for myself: a 4.4 mile open water swim in Maryland. And within 60 days, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go do this. And it was weird. I mean, not anymore because of science, but like I didn't know this, but like I was so black cloud depression. I started working out 2 months later. I completed that race or that time, and everything was sunshine. I was happy. I was better. So if you're feeling down, just go work out and stick with it. Just stick with that.
That's 100%. I mean, I've been doing it since November and I've lost 50 pounds and
That's awesome.
just a lot that comes with that,
Yes.
I mean, and you don't realize how kind of depressed you are kind of too, right? Until you do start to get healthier and you do start to clear your mindset
Yeah.
one problem at a time. I think that's the problem that we have is we don't process through one problem. We just
Right.
try to sweep it under a rug or whatnot, or I don't want to deal with that. And then it
No.
just literally you get to be a certain age in life and boom, man, you can't deal with it because there's too much now and now it's overflowing, right?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think the best thing is try to process through your problems as they come.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to deal with it. You don't necessarily have to go kill it right away. Sometimes you need a little bit of time to step back and have deal process through emotion
Yep.
and get yourself back to some logic. But that's a good point.
It's tough. I think it goes back to exactly what we were talking about at the very beginning. Was like, it's okay to show a little bit of emotion to your friends. They won't tell anybody. They might make fun of you, but it's okay.
Yep.
Just do it. It's good. It will help you in the long run. Yeah. So getting back to the story. So this is transitioning from the military to post-military life. Now, one character I've kind of left out is my wife. So my wife and I have been together for 13 years.
Wow. Okay.
Been married 9 years, coming up 9 years. And she was with me throughout that entire time. We took a little break here and there because of my depression, and it was nasty.
Did she know you prior to you going in, or did you
Yeah.
guys meet while you were
Oh,
serving? So she knew the before you?
no. Sorry.
No?
So
Okay.
she knew the honor guard me.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then she watched me through swim school, and then she watched me the depression style, and then ever since then. So so she's a nurse here in DC.
Oh,
We
nice.
live in Maryland now, but she's been a nurse for 13, 14 years now. So
Wow.
yeah,
Jeez.
she's way harder than me, stuff that she's seen. It's crazy. So when I was leaving the military, um, that was difficult, as I'm sure everyone can agree. You have that 5 day training. I don't even remember what that was. And they said, "Here you go, good luck." And I remember that first day, I was like, I was at my wife's girlfriend at the time's apartment.
Hey, hold on.
One,
We'll stop real
yep,
quick. We'll do a quick break.
sounds
Then we'll
good.
come back and talk about what you get ready to say, because that's your
Yeah.
transitioning when you're getting out, and we'll talk how life was. And so yeah, just a quick break. We'll give some love to another veteran out there. Let's look at some. What do I have here lined up?
American made, veteran owned, we are Doc Goodbeard. It's more than just looking good. When it comes to your beard, we believe you can have it all. Thoughtfully designed, unique fragrances, and affordable prices. We strive to provide a line of uniquely scented balms and oils that you won't find in other products. Come on, rock with Doc, and remember, it's all about the beard, man. So what do you say? Let's take that average beard and make it badass. Go to docbeard.com.
All right, man. Now we'll go ahead and talk about you getting out, and what life was, and talk about you and your wife. And
Of course.
sure,
Yeah.
she got to
So leaving the military, I believe I had something that was instrumental, which was a girlfriend, now wife, that told me what to do. And she said, take 2 weeks off. Don't do anything.
you had a good support system right off rip, it sounds like, which
Right away.
is very crucial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I understand a lot of people do not have getting out.
Right.
So I cannot say anything better. The support system was incredible. So she told me to take 2 weeks off. I did. Well, I think I took like a week because I think, pretty much bored. So I kind of assessed what I wanted to do in life. And I did not want to go to school, college. I did not want to sit there with 18-year-olds when I think I was like 24, 25, had all this experience, and I just, didn't want to do that. So let's get a job. So, and on top of that, I've always known that I wanted to be in sales. And the reason why was pretty much because ever since the honor guard, if we needed to have someone pitch an idea to our NCOs or chiefs or officers, everyone just nominated me to go talk.
You're the sport. I mean, you're the talk guy.
Yeah. So, and it worked pretty much. So I kind of like understood that I could talk to people. There you go. So I did one thing that was interesting, which was I went to Barnes and Nobles, free, by the way, or you could go to your local library as well. And I walked the aisles up and down nonstop. And the reason why I did that was because I needed to figure out what I wanted to be passionate about selling. And so I just kind of thumbed through all these different books and different ideas and different topics. And I wound up on wine and wine history. And so I absolutely fell in love with it because of how unique the history of war and wine kind of blended together. And so
that's just a unique way of doing things anyways, bro. I mean, just to come
Yeah.
across something that, I mean, I've never really heard of anybody kind of be so calculated with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to do something that was what I wanted to do. Right. And so,
awesome.
Yeah. So wine kind of shot out to me. I text my cousin whose husband was in the wine restaurant industry. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And he goes like, try to take this test. If you pass this test, you can give me a call. So I ordered the book on my like very fixed income budget, which was I was like eating tuna packets for lunch and dinner. So like everyone knows what that's like, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what.
And so I studied for about like 2 or 3 weeks. It was $500 for that test, and that felt like the world to me, right? And paid for it, passed the test. I got the certification. It's actually right there on my wall, which is cool. I still
nice, yeah,
hold
man.
that dear to me. So
you had to earn that,
I did, yeah, and that was all on me. So then I text my cousin's husband at that time, what do I do next? And he goes like, go work at a restaurant. So I went to work at a restaurant just down the street, and they were like, you have no experience, but you can work. So here's being a busboy. So I was a busboy for like the first like month or two. I worked my way up to being a waiter. I took like weekend morning shifts for a bartender, and then I worked a little in the wine shop that was attached to it to learn a little bit more. So I worked a lot, right? And
wait, now how is your mental health right about now? You doing all right? You know, you're not really thinking about things because you're hyper focused on what's next.
I wasn't. I didn't. I'm going to relate it back to my age, 24, 25.
Right.
Wasn't thinking,
Sure. Right. Age, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I was so focused.
You have a hyper focus of something else, right?
And doing something. And I think that was good. That didn't give me time to think about what I just went through. It gave me time to like focus on something on the next chapter. So that's crucial for sure. So after that, I wanted to get into wine sales. I Googled wine sales jobs in DC, and 2 jobs came up, and I applied to both, and I had interviews with both. One was stacking boxes in grocery stores, and the other one was this sales manager who was very influential for the rest of my life, still is. And he goes like, well, here's a bad territory in DC that's been billing 0, and you kind of have to walk the street and go figure it out. And I said, okay, I'll take it. I'll take whatever job. And
you preferred sales already anyways, what sounds better, doing what you kind of already wanted to do, or stacking boxes, right?
Exactly. And so my thought process was, let's go, let's do this. I'll take whatever. I don't care. And I'll say this to your audience, because you guys know, like, as enlisted, you're not paid much. I mean, no. I think like E3 is like 20 grand maybe.
Yeah.
And so they offered me like 30 grand, 35 grand. And I thought I hit that.
Hey, ooh, money.
But then he told me about commission.
Oh.
I was like, what is this? What is this voodoo? You sell something and you make more money. Wow. Okay. So anyways, I say that so your audience understands, like, sales is like, it's a different beast in itself. So
sales starts to feed your ego a little bit too, because when you start making them sales, man, and you get that commission, and it starts to drive you more, right? Because you're like, well, if I could do 5, I wonder what 10 would look like,
exactly.
and just keep building upon that, because once you start seeing that check come through, which you're working, that's why you're working, right? I mean, right. When you see that payoff, man, it really, I know sales, that's how it is a lot of times. And that's why they also try to do like these competitions, I think, in sales a lot of times with these people, because they're like, so-and-so is the top seller right now, and they're getting this right now, blah, blah, blah. You can be there too.
Yes, exactly.
It's all mental, right?
It's all mental. It's all about who's the most competitive, who's the most aggressive. And as competitive as I am, I've realized, I'd say, like, in the past like 5-6 years, is it's not about like being more so competitive against other people. It's more about within myself. And I just want to do a little bit better. I could care less if someone blew it out like last month. Like, good job. Like, I'm so happy for them, rather than why didn't I do that? Why didn't I
So
get
consumed in
no.
yourself. That's when you learn how to not be so self-centered. I think that's where, people take being selfish and self-centered, and that right there defines when you start to think about yourself, and
Yep.
it's, it's good to cheer on others, because I think that karma is a big player in life too, right?
Yes.
As you're cheering on others and you're not have all these high expectations for yourself,
No.
the world starts coming to you more and more, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the more you can help other people, the better. I think, the universe kind of rewards you in a way, which is great.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll kind of like go a little bit faster if you want.
Sure.
But, this position was about 2 years. It was the grinding position, earning your stripes, if you will. The next position was also kind of like a leg up because my sales manager, he took this job at this company and then he left, and then he was like recommended me. And a funny story about how I got that job was, I hopped on the train to New York City and I told the VP in the company, I was like, I'm going to be there today for an interview in person. Mind you, it's been a month and a half since like calling and emailing almost every single day for this job. So I say that because I like to mention sometimes if you need or want a job, you kind of have to go get it and not wait for it. So I paid out of my pocket train rides up and back, hotel room. I stayed with my cousin the first time, hotel room the second time. But I sat in the office for like 12 hours waiting for an interview. And then he finally did. I say that because you kind of have to go make stuff
To
happen.
make sacrifices sometimes, man. I think that's the hard part, is a lot of people will just have expectations and, expect everything to happen for them now, or they'll have the patience, right? And or don't have that drive to kind of suck it up a little bit to get that payoff for the longer haul, right? Because
Exactly.
I don't want to just bear it for 20 minutes to get, a great outcome later. I think that's the psyche on a lot of us. And, and you're showing right now, bro, how bad you wanted something, right? Like this is, and you've been watching and learning, and you wanted it. So obviously you were like, hey, I'm going to make the commitment. I'm going to make the dedication, whatever it takes.
Let's go. Yeah. And so I was there for, I think it was 4.5 years. Fantastic experience.
Nice. Everyone, man. You probably learned a lot.
It was amazing. I went from like this small territory in DC to managing 8 states, and not just sales, but marketing, P&L, everything. I ran the territory, which was it was fantastic. And for like a 26-year-old to take over this type of territory, that was big. It was a big step. And so it was amazing.
Who would have thunk it, man? You just, you decide one day to go look at all this stuff, and you come across wine, and then, there that seed grows, and then it starts blossoming. And I mean, it just goes to show you,
you just gotta,
you got to act on some things sometimes, a feeling or an urge,
I'm believing in this quote I've been saying a lot recently, especially with my venture today, is this universe, this God, whoever you believe, rewards action. This world rewards action. If you do
sure
stuff,
does. It really does.
You. Sure, it might like
good karma, bad karma, all that is a very true thing.
So I firmly believe if
I'm with you with that, bro.
Just gotta do it.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So my son was born. That was the next stage. So 2020, COVID lockdown on Tuesday. We go in the hospital on Friday.
Oh man, he's born during this whole,
just right there. St. Patrick's Day 2020. Like I remember seeing a lot of my buddies send me videos like, hey, last beer in a bar. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And then the governor shutting down everything. And I'm like, okay. The weirdest thing was, have you ever seen the movie 28 Days Later?
Yes.
Where the guy wakes up and he walks out of the hospital and there's like no one there. We left DC, middle of DC, Friday at 4 p.m. Should be 2-hour traffic to go 10 miles. We made it home in 10 minutes. It was 10 miles. It was that type of craziness. Anyways, so that's what my son was born into, which was a blessing in a disguise.
Were they super strict at the hospital with you being there as, the dad, or were they pretty
No,
cool
they
with
were
that?
they were just like, we don't know what's going on. Don't leave, but have
Yeah, so that's good. So you
yeah.
weren't like
No,
not
it was
able to see
before.
the baby for like 10 days or something because you had a
No,
quarantine or okay.
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it was before those crazy rules.
Right.
Yeah, and so blessing in the way that I want to bring up is the fact that I was able to spend undivided attention with my kid. And
Right.
I've had the pleasure of 3 kids, and I've had the opportunity to be with them like a lot. And I say that because I know a lot of veterans that were deployed, right, without seeing their kids for months. And I understand, like, I can't fathom that pain because of what have been able to experience is something that I would give up everything just so I have those first few weeks, few months, like sure, you're not sleeping, but veterans are kind of used to not sleeping. Anyone in the military is not used to that, but being with your kid is amazing. I love it.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
It's an unforgettable thing, and yeah,
It goes
man,
fast.
it really does go fast. Trust me. Got a daughter in college now, so
Yeah.
it goes by way too fast.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. So I jumped from the wine industry into, I guess you can say, tech sales.
How'd you stumble across that?
Very difficultly. Tech sales is very difficult the term is like break into, right? I think it took me about 10 months to even get one interview.
Wow.
But that interview, I nailed it because I knew it, I wanted it, and I just didn't give up. And so I was able to get on the team, and I worked my butt off. I finished 200% quota, which is like
Damn.
double what you want, right? So
right.
I
overachiever over here.
Yeah.
All these people were like, "Who this motherfucker coming in?"
Well, everyone knew me as a wine guy, right?
Right.
You don't have tech experience. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna prove that like I know how to sell. I know how to be personable. I know how to be like a man of his word, which is not in a lot of salespeople's minds. But anyways, sorry.
No,
And
you hit it on the nail on the dot right there.
Yeah. So, so I was there for about 2 years. I had the privilege and up and down of working for Jeff Bezos at Amazon Web Services, so their cloud computing side.
Yeah.
Which that in itself is a feat to get into, which was great. And then I was there for like 100 days, 120 days, and then they laid me off with 29,000 other people. So that is when
back to square zero again, huh?
Exactly. And now with kids, my mindset was very different. But on top of that, I kind of had that. I like saying this. I had that Jocko moment where you take a step back from like everything that's happening, and you're like, okay, what just happened? What's going on, and what's going on with this world, and where's it going? And that's where my wheels really started clicking for the idea that I have today. If it makes sense, I will kind of like describe that transition. So I saw
perfect opportunity.
2023, around 250,000 people in tech sales, in tech, laid off. 2024, another 500,000. And this year alone, I think it's another 500,000 already. I mean,
is AI taking over, or what's kind of the cause of this?
First, it was we overhired because of COVID. Now we need to move back. Then it was like return to office,
It's
and
all about
we're
scale right there.
downsizing because of the economy. And now everyone is like, I just had a conversation with a person, and they put it very bluntly, which was like corporations today are proud to lay off thousands of people just to say a chatbot, AI chatbot can do this.
Yeah.
None of this sits well with me at all. Because I don't think people, and I think everything is a pendulum. Right now, we're in the AI pendulum where it is swinging at mass, and I don't think it's going to stop for a few months, maybe a year.
No, because I think everybody keeps feeding it too, right? And
Yep.
making it smarter and smarter, and we're all betas for this whole AI world.
Yep.
And I think you're right. This is going to be a big deciding factor which way we go with it.
Yeah.
We're at that fork in the road, I think, with AI, and it is going to start knocking people out of jobs. And I think that's why they're trying to perfect it, because I think that is the big intent. Because AI, you don't have to pay them if they get hurt. You don't.
Right.
There's a lot that comes with AI. But it's just, but then what does that do for everybody else, right?
What does it do for humans?
The job markets,
Right.
And all the kids, and everybody wants to go and try to get a job, and then not everybody is tech savvy. You don't just. Everybody's not always into that world of knowing how to make things work, and everybody has their different personalities, but man, AI is going to, we got to be careful, I think, with the future of it.
I do too.
And you're seeing it more, I think, than a lot of people are, because you're seeing a lot of people getting wiped out by it.
Every day we see new advances. I read a lot about it. I have a lot of friends inside of it, like in the groundbreaking stuff, and the type of stuff that they are able to do today is shocking to people 4 weeks ago. So
right, yeah,
that's how breakneck speed this is moving, and
tech has grown faster than it ever has before. You take the 80s, the 90s, and everything, you can just see how technology advances so much faster than it ever used to. It took a while for you to get a brand new cell phone before the next one came out. Yeah. Now they're like, you're lucky a few more months. Oh shit, there's already like the 0.5 of it,
There you go. Yep. No, it's crazy. It really is. And that's where, my idea about a year and a half ago really kind of came from, which was people are being laid off, and I still believe that I believe that with AI and over the past 3 years of layoffs, a lot of good people and good talent has been misabused by these layoffs. And what I mean by that is, I know a lot of people stellar, and I'm going to talk about from sales, because I've been in sales for the past 10 years. But I know a lot of great sales people or sales managers or leaders that have been laid off or fired for no reason, or they haven't gotten the next job or the next promotion, and someone else got that position and they were terrible. And so none of this kind of sat well with me. So by creating Verideal, and I want to make sure that you and your audience understand that, like, our position is we're starting with tech sales, because I know it, and I know the industry, I know the people here, but we have aggressive goals, if you will, to expand to, I guess you could say, corporate America, if that makes sense. So, and the reason why is because I believe that we can showcase your career profession beautifully. So we're going to start with sales. And the very simplistic way I can put it is when you close a deal, you get your customer to verify it. Now you're building your career portfolio. Instead of LinkedIn, you're building something that's verified and tangible. That way, when you go to your next interview or up for your promotion, you can say, this is what I've actually done. And you can, and then that way, the hiring manager, the recruiter, and the company can look at you and be like, okay, I understand this person will produce XYZ for me if I hire them, rather than using a network or just going off of resume. So that's the basis of this idea.
Nice, man. And yeah, so kind of walk us through, what would it, how someone would get in touch with you guys. Who
Sure.
are you guys really trying to capture?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So a few months ago, I decided. So my third child was born in February, and about 2 weeks later, I told my wife, I was like, "Look, I'm going full steam ahead with this. Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, go for it." So after my wife's blessing, I, started talking about this very openly. One of our very good friends was like, "Hey, I have this guy, really good friend, who has 20, 25 years plus experience in development. He was a former Army guy." So right there, that sat well with me, a veteran, because I can trust veterans, right? And so, unfortunately, we still haven't found a good picture of him.
Yeah, I don't even know if this guy exists, to be honest with you.
He's a ghost. Yeah. And so, so I shared the idea with him. I shared the passion with him, the vision of helping people, helping people showcase what they have done and can do. So he's all about it. And so we've been working for the past, I'd say, like 3 months, pretty hard on this. We both have day jobs, so we're working at night, weekends, and we both have kids. So as anyone can tell, you're working hard when you can. So, so we are launching August 18th. We have a very like I said, niche that we're going after, tech sales. And then over the course of, I'd say the 18 months, we're going to open it up to different career professions. That way, I hope we can dial into the veteran community and help them, because it's 100% a passion of mine, because I know friends and friends of friends that they're a part of that 22 number, right? And so if we can help people show their abilities to hiring people, recruiters or hiring managers, or inverse. If you're a veteran and you own a company and you can't find good work, we want to be able to help your company as well. So that's the mission. That's the angle that we're going after, and we're excited, because with AI and how much you can use AI to cheat your way through, it doesn't sit well with myself or Jason. So we're excited.
Yeah, it's good, man. I think that we are going to have to really start defending ourselves against AI and protecting ourselves, right? And we got to have people out there that have our interest out there versus these tech gods that we can't outsmart because we don't know their codes and the algorithms and all the things that come into that tech world. So it's good to have people out there that are hopefully can bridge that gap a little bit, so people aren't getting taken by freaking AI, man. Because if we don't watch it, I mean, we can go to those Terminator days. We're all laughing about it, but man, next thing we're getting zit.
I know. I don't know if you've ever seen, but people use please and thank you to AI. So hopefully when Terminator comes around, we'll be part of the good crowd, not the mean crowd. So.
Yeah. It is funny how you do talk a little respectful to AI. Like Siri, can you please, you know,
just in case, you never know.
yeah, right. You never know when she might start driving your car one day and it's like, you were being kind of mean to me that other day, huh? Flat
Exactly.
tire. Oh,
Exactly.
hit a pole.
Yep.
But dude, is there anything else that you would like to talk about, or kind of how you envision, this company going?
Yeah.
What's the big picture for you guys?
Sure. Yeah. So the big picture is kind of like what I've been mentioning is like bringing the people that are shy, or shy might be the wrong word, but the person that doesn't know how to showcase themselves, whether it's on the resume or in an interview, it's to give you a platform and like, okay, you've done all these great things.
Right.
You don't have to do anything now. Like recruiters and hiring managers are going to be able to see that. And that's the vision of the platform. Is we're going to have two tiers. One is a free tier so everyone can get on, and then there's a paid subscription model. And the reason for that is because of the algorithms and all the other gadgets that we're building behind the scene to really kind of like showcase the top performers. And I was just thinking about this before coming on, and I was talking about with my wife. It's like there's an old saying, 20% does 20% of the workforce does, 80% of, or I'm messing up that saying, but I believe everyone understands what I'm trying to get at. And that 20% might be very good, right? But they also might not be like have a good network, good advertisement of themselves, know how to market themselves. And so we want this platform. And I believe a lot of veterans are a little bit timid within that corporate world,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
it's different. And so if we can give people voices and then build them up within a platform, I think that's our end goal. So,
Outstanding.
but we are starting with tech sales. I just want to make sure, and then we will probably go to all sales across all industries, because it's pretty much the same stuff. And then we'll go into the technical side, project management, project development, marketing, and then kind of like go from there. So I apologize if it's not your exact career, that if you guys are listening, but it is coming. We are going to work very hard. So
That's it, man. And you know what? Usually you put some veterans behind something and you get some amazing output, so that's one thing. You got two veterans out there. It sounds like you guys both have the exact same passion, because that's huge.
yeah,
Right. And when you want to build an empire, build legacy, you got to have people on the same vision as yourself, or otherwise you're gonna just end up failing down the road, right? So
exactly. Yeah,
it's perfect, man. And I'm glad you guys are doing it. And I really appreciate you, brother, coming on and telling your
appreciate you.
story and,
Yeah.
and giving us your insight, talking about what you got going on. Everybody, make sure you go out there and check out www.verideal. That's VERIDEAL.io. All right, that's everybody listening on the audio side, and I'll also have that in the description of the show, so you guys can click on it, go check it out. Nevertheless, just share it out, because you never know, someone in your family, anybody can use it. I know it may not apply to everybody, but you never know who it may apply to, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, man, if you have any last words you want to say to before we head out?
If you don't mind, like I would love to, like anyone out there, like veterans or transitioning, I'm happy to kind of like have a phone call with y'all if you guys are looking to get into entrepreneurship, because I've been going through it myself and it's difficult. Or if you are looking to get into sales, I'm happy to lend anything. It's tough. Everything's tough, right? But if you, like I said earlier, like I believe in action, and this world rewards action. You just got to start doing stuff. It's fun.
And I imagine they can probably contact you through your website. Is that
Yes.
a good
Yes.
good place to contact you?
I own pretty much like all the emails, so contact@verideal.io or Donny@verideal.io as well. So feel
Perfect.
free to reach out whenever you need to.
All right, outstanding. Well,
Yeah.
Donnie, hey, brother, I really appreciate you once again for coming on and talking about all your experiences, and I appreciate your service to our country, and I appreciate all the things that you're still doing, man.
Thank you
And
very much, Brian. I appreciate it.
absolutely, brother. And you enjoy the rest of your day. And if you want to hold tight, you can enjoy the crayons back there, and then I'll join you, and then we'll sign
Sounds
off.
good. Yep.
All right, brother. All right, friends and fam. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for another great one. And, like I said, if you have an amazing story out there or just, hey, you want to talk about your experiences while you served, it doesn't have to be some amazing story. Please reach out. Email me every day's a Saturday, 365@yahoo.com. Don't forget, you guys could check us out on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Bullfrog, TuneIn, Pandora, all the platforms pretty much. And if I'm not on one of those platforms that you really like to listen to, shoot me an email and tell me, hey, add my platform. I really want to hear you over here on this side. All right. So you know how we say on the show, don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.